And welcome to Nigeria Decides on Cool City Television. Of course, we're here again today looking at different aspects of politics in Nigeria and, of course, in Enugu State, not leaving behind every other part of the country. And today on politics, today we are looking at the situations in Lagos State. There has been a protest. Yesterday was more of they called it a celebrating protest for Bola Ahmed Tinubu's emergence as the president-elect of the federation. Today, the drivers of the state, that's in Lagos State, are protesting against the kind of amount of money collected from them by Aberos. I'm Wafu Joshua, and I'm joined on the program today with Mr.
Ugwabo Emmanuel Chizoba.
Okay, with Mr. Ugwabo Emmanuel Chizoba. I want us to go on a very quick break. On this break, we are going to look at a video from Lagos State where these people are actually protesting, complaining about the kind of government they are facing under the APC in Lagos State. Stay with us as we will go through this short video. We'll be right back with you.
Àwọn sòdì oníwà lára o. Sòdì oníwà lára. Wọ́n ní wàá lọ sòdì o. Àgbàdo tó gé. Sòdì oníwà lára o. Àwọn sòdì òdààmú wa o. Yóò gbé kọ́tà sọ. Ajá àtàgbàdo. Yàrá ajá àtàgbàdo jà iná níwà lára. Sòdì oníwà lára. 30,500. Lójoojúmọ́. Sòdì oníwà lára. Ó lè ní wá. Ó lè ní wá. Owó tó ń fà náà is too much. It's too much. Mo gbàgbọ́ mi. Owó tó ń fà is too much. Ó pọ̀ jù. Láìsí elépo là ń jẹ. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni. Láìsí elépo. Ọ̀gájá ti lè tó. Ọ̀gá bá dùn, kò tí lè sọ̀rọ̀ lẹ́yìn sí. Ọ̀gá bá dùn, a lè jẹ́ pẹ̀lẹ́pẹ̀lẹ́. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni bẹ́ẹ̀ni. Tó yẹ lọ́kà lọ sí. Àlọ́ bí kọ́kọ́ o. Ibà gbẹ yẹn jù ẹ̀. Ẹ jọ. Àwọn ẹgbẹ̀rún àgbàdo wọn bá gbàdo ìbàdàn ti ṣeré ni.
So welcome back. We just saw a video from Lagos State where the drivers are actually protesting on the kind of amounts that they pay as taxes to the Aberos who stand as the state government or something like that. Mr. Emmanuel, you know, when there's a protest, it signifies that things are not going well, especially in Nigeria. It signifies that there have been long-standing grievances, there have been series of complaints, and there haven't been any reasonable solution. So the only option then is for a protest, because just like the NSAS protest and all that, it was over time. People have been taking a whole lot of things, and at a point, it was too much to endure. People had to walk to the streets. So with what is happening, I think it's a big minus for the APC in Lagos State, who painstakingly won the elections the other day and all that.
To talk about whether it's a minus or not is to remove the actual issue on ground, which is overtaxation. To protest is the right of every human being, of course, because it shows that there is right to free will, you know. And free will is what makes us humans. You should be able to decide what you want and how you want it as a person. You don't need to have somebody direct how you live your life, you know, and all that. And it's what led to, you know, in search of a civilized society where people are allowed to make inputs and where there is hierarchy structure on how things are done and how things are not
done. Yeah.
So it's their right to protest. Then the question becomes, what are they really protesting for? Lagos State, you know, has been known as the state, nearly the only state in Nigeria where there are direct tax implementation. You know, for instance, here in Enugu State, you know, there is state inland revenue services collecting tax here and there, you know. Go sometimes, you know, maybe once in a month, once in a year, you know, a shop owner will see the tax people coming to say, give us this, that. We are going to seize your chair, seize your table, seize this. trying to urge people. But generally, people don't pay tax. Such things happen once in a while, you know. And, in Anambra State recently, Mr. Charles Soludo tried to introduce the system. He was, met with stiff resistance.
Yeah.
Because he may be calculating the idea of tax from, what's obtainable in the US, UK, and other places where you're supposed to pay 5% income tax, 10% income tax, 20%, 30%. Some countries is up to 40% income tax and all that. So, but we are not familiar
With all that.
with that. It's not in our culture. It was why Aba women protested in 1929. That is nearly 100 years ago, And it was what led to the issues that Igbos had with the warrant chief system, So the idea of tax is not in our culture. It's not what we understand, There are contributions, quite alright. But the idea of bring tax so that the government can manage it, no. What we know here in Igbo land is that there is a community project. And then, it's either they share it equally. Every family should bring 10 kobo or 20 kobo. Then each family will now go and hustle and know how they are going to bring theirs. Or they will now say anybody can contribute what he has.
To the project.
If Mr. A can afford 10 kobo, if Mr. B can afford 50 kobo, he can bring something like that. It's usually out of free will, and they understand that we are bringing out this money maybe because we are having security challenges and they need so amounts to buy guns, to pay security men so that they can secure our land, or we want to, sink a borehole, or we want to construct a road, something like that. That is the idea of people understand. People will not understand the idea that if I work and earn 50,000, then 10% or 30% will now have to go to the government, who will now on their own decide how to use it, and maybe even to give to themselves more and all that. So that is why our people hate taxes. But Bola Ahmed Tinubu was able to establish a system that has been gathering tax for Lagos
tax
people.
collection in Lagos State.
Yeah, so and so far it has been easy for him. When Rajiv Babatunde Fashola, I mean to say, came into office, he expanded the horizon and made it possible that, Lagos was generating in excess of 200 billion naira, as tax revenue. And this tax revenue are coming from where? It's coming from people's work. So that is why things in Lagos State keeps increasing, Places where you can go to for 100 naira in Enugu. If you go to Lagos, you find it difficult to go the same distance at 500 naira.
Because this guy pays serious amounts in tax.
Exactly.
So we have to charge the people to cover up.
Yes, when fuel price there is cheaper. It's cheaper in Lagos, it's costly in Enugu. But, from one major junction in Enugu to another is about 100 naira, at most 150 or 200 depending on the distance. But in Lagos, for you to enter Okada, you have to have at least 1,000. See the disparity. Meanwhile, fuel is sold at official pump price there at 185. Here, it is sold at 260. See the disparity. And that is because of what? Because the Okada men, they want to meet up with taxes. When you want to go and do your hair, they will have to add the price. The hairs they do here for 500, 1,000, they will do it for 5,000 there, so as to be able to meet up with the tax.
Taxes they're paying.
At the end of the day, sometimes it's not leading to development. Rather, it's leading to inflation.
Yes.
Because if, a room self-contained here in Enugu cost about 200 to 250,000. You go to Lagos State, the same quality will now have to cost about 500 500,000 to 1 million. So you see that somebody here somebody who is doing a civil service job here that can afford a self-con here cannot afford a self-con there in Lagos.
Yeah.
So it becomes inflation, and it's why the more it keeps going up, the more people are frustrated. And in the days leading to the 2023 general elections, Lagos State, they remove tax, 50% tax, cut 50% tax on everything. But the elections have come and gone, so the incentives
so
still have
to
gone.
what it is.
Yeah, so they felt the bus drivers, they felt really bad that this time around the 50% increase reduction has been removed, and then they have to be thrown into the deep, harsh realities. We are still trying to come out from the naira scarcity, the fuel scarcity, and everything, and then they are now
being thrown
back
into this again,
into something like this. But they are just going to protest.
But I thought government policies were meant to better the living conditions of the people, not to throw them in unexpected circumstances, especially in the harsh economic situation we face in the country.
You see, the thing here is that governments will always find reasons to justify their actions. You know, they'll tell you they want to do this. You know, they want to construct the road leading to Apapa that is causing the Apapa gridlock, and then you have to pay taxes for us to be able to accomplish this. You know, this, that. We have to build this, we have to build that. The speed rail project, this one, we have to do this, and we need money, and then these monies will have to come from tax and all that. So they will always have reasons why they are saying. They will always find a way to tell the citizens that, see, it's for your own good. But you find out that a good number of times it's usually not for the people's own good. So it's what government has become, and it's what people should do when you look at candidates that are coming out for elections. You go and you cast your vote for the candidates you feel will treat you better. If you finally elect candidates and they are not able to treat you better, you only have two choices. You either wait for the next election, or you pressure your House of Assembly member to move for the person's impeachment.
Yeah.
You know, so which hardly comes by. So the main opportunity remains on the ballot.
Every
and
4
I'm
years.
very sure that a good number of them that are the bus drivers were also those that were jubilating when Mr. Sanwo-Olu won elections.
Yeah, there was one celebrating.
So it's just on them to accept that
These are the realities.
they voted in.
The government they supported and celebrated.
The same way they supported the government to come into power, they should also find the same communication channel to pass their grievances. But if it ends at protest, I am sorry, most likely nothing is going to be done. They are just going to find, get a good PR person, speak a good English, and everything gets sorted out.
And things continue going from bad to worst.
Yeah, that's according to them. The Lagos State government may not tell you that things are going from bad to worse. They may tell you that, with all this money we have stifled from these bus drivers, and keke riders and Okada riders, we've been able to build another banana
Looking at
for people that are wealthy.
Looking at the situation in Lagos State, if we are to equate it down to Enugu State, I think I wouldn't say Enugu State is more like a business hub like Lagos State, but I think the government too could use the small we have down in Enugu State to generate income. Why isn't the government really trying to increase taxes on the people of Enugu State, or it's just the government being fair to the people, unlike the government in Lagos State, and giving that chances to agents to collect that money?
I've told you what our culture as Igbo people feels like. We don't understand the idea of tax and taxation. It's just like this current administration, when they came into power in 2015, and a summit, was organized. It was called Oganiru Enugu Summit. That summit was, organized in the interest of how our people behave. So instead of going to tax people to bring money, because the administration came in and realized that crude oil used to be $100 per barrel, and this time around it's less than 30, and we have to still function somehow. This state used to get up to 20-30 billion naira from the federal government every month. Under our own administration, it's going to be less than 5. So if we are going to be able to achieve anything, we have to find a way to depend on ourselves, and that was why they called the Oganiru Enugu Summit. And what was the main focus? So that the people of Enugu, home and abroad, can come back home, look at opportunities. Government will provide the environment. You people will now bring in the money. Let's invest at home. With that, we can earn money. So it was that contributory system whereby bring your own. Let's see how it will work. And that was how the vision of the Enugu Free Trade Zone was bettered. And now it has been achieved. Many people are beginning to build things. The Lion Park was opened, I think, about a year or 2 years ago, to set the place open, to get things. I think it was in 2021, to get things going there. So now a lot of people are beginning to invest, and from the money gotten there, they can begin to do things. But here, if somebody stops me along the way and say I should pay tax, the person is not going to find it funny, because our situation as Igbo people, we don't understand the idea that we have to give another person our money to decide how the person will manage it. It has to be, yeah. So that is what is going to lead to something like that. If not, the taxes have remained at the value-added
Taxes,
value added tax provided by the federal government and all that. That's what it has remained here in Enugu State. And 90% of the times it's not even implemented. You hardly see tax people working along the road. The only people you see are those people whose shops are close to the markets, and you see market unions trying to use the avenue to raise some revenues for themselves. But aside from that, you hardly see these people patrolling. You only get to see those who are selling tickets to keke people 50 naira, 100 naira, bus people 50 naira, 100.
And these guys still try to maneuver the situation. Even
they always maneuver, not try. They always maneuver, because you know that here in Enugu, nobody is going to break your windscreen. Nobody. So
that violence is not in play.
Sometimes you see those guys, they'll just be waiting for the bus. Once the bus comes, they enter and they'll hold the driver until the driver gives them the 50 naira or 100 naira, as the case may be. So that is the only way to collect it here, because people don't have that heart to bring out their hard-earned money and give you
in the name of giving to the government,
and hope that you will now utilize it well for them. No, it's not the way things function around here. So I believe the Enugu State government understands the way the people act and react, and they've been able to find ways around it. And I think one of the ways was, allowing big businesses like Spa, Roba and the rest of them, helping them out, hotels and the rest of them coming in, providing the atmosphere so that people can come and invest, because it is easier to collect tax from those big organizations, and their tax are usually bigger. So that was how the Enugu State has been able to raise, the tax by 30 million naira or thereabout, or 30. I think it's 30 billion in 4 years or thereabout. So knowing that those people, they are the people that are going to bring out big money. You check how much is Spark getting in a year. If you calculate it, then give us our 7.5%, and they go freely. It's going to be easy, especially when you know that Spark parent companies from South Africa, they are paying higher taxes there. So when you say give me my 7.5% tax, they will not feel bad. So, but ordinary person, even the teacher whose salary is 50,000, and when the salary comes, it comes at 49,000, the person will still feel bad that is not complete.
Now, why did the bank remove 15 naira even?
Why must, most of the time the salary doesn't come complete because it's usually the tax that has been deducted. So, but the person doesn't feel good that that's 500 or 600 or 700 has been deducted.
Was deducted from the money.
Then imagine when somebody now meets you, tell you to give you
10%.
10%, or these kind of charges being charged to drive. If you do that to any good drivers, you are going to have issues. They are going to kill somebody. So we here in Enugu, we understand how things work. We understand the people, and I believe the people also understand those governing them and how these things work. So that is why taxation has not really been much of an issue, because Enugu State government understands that you should provide the enabling environment so that big organizations can come in, and these people can now give you money instead of holding people who are struggling to find a way to survive. Given a chance, most of those people would have not been drivers.
Yes.
So they are looking for a way to survive. And they're coming to, take out the one they have. Or those women selling food, using barrow and truck. Given the chance, they won't do that. So somebody that is finding a way to survive, you now go and say, give me tax and all that. They are not going to find it really funny. But when you have big organizations, seeing this place as the choicest place, and this administration have been so good at it to make sure that this place remains very peaceful, so that hotels are springing up every day, and every Friday you see people trooping in from all parts of the country, coming in here and going. So while you are coming in, you are going to spend 30, 40, 50, 100,000. Sometimes some people spend up to 1 million before you leave in the weekend. So as you are leaving, and the hotel or the bar or the beer parlor or whatever is taking their money to the bank, the state is smiling because 7% is coming to them. Very simple, very easy. I think that's more ways to go about these things other than the charlatan way of stopping people along the way, trying to beat them to collect. Soludo was talking about that keke rider should be giving them 15,000 naira every week, and if a keke man gives you 15,000 naira every week, what's left?
200,000 naira a month. Like it seems he's working for the government even.
That's it. What's left?
These are the things we are looking at here on Nigeria Decides, of course, because these things affect everyone in the country. The policy making system, who is making this policy, it affects you. Votes have been casted, results have been given to the people. People are going up and down, getting certificate of returns and preparing for inaugurations. After that comes leadership. We are seeing a pure case in the case of Lagos State, where the people are out there protesting, pushing out grievances against the government. On the other side, we have Osun State, where the people seem to have been praising the governor for a couple of days now. As we go on this short break, we are going to show you a short video from Osun State where the governor was asked, and he's explaining how he was able to pay back debts the governments have been owing to the people in the form of allowances. Stay with us as we go on this quick break, as you have a view of this very short video. We'll be right back.
I love my people, and then I see that they are suffering. So the first thing I did, despite the fact there was no money, I was able, I prayed to God to give me the wisdom of Solomon, King Solomon, to be able to lead my people. And I pray about it, and he did. God gave me that wisdom. I was able to maneuver and then pay the contributory pensioners who are dying. I was able to pay their salary. That is why they came out en masse today to receive me.
Your Excellency, a lot of people listening will be shocked because they know the state of how things were in Osun State. So where did this money come from, or did you pay out of pocket?
No, I block all the leakages. I block all the leakages where they spend money, where it's not necessary, where the money, all the money that is meant for Osun is going somewhere else. So I block it, and of course I spread it. I have a formidable team.
Now some say
of Osun State saying how he was able to pay back these monies to the people of Osun State. He said he blocked leakages, and these leakages seems to be like ghost workers or agencies who have been receiving monies from the government, claiming to do one thing or the other which doesn't entirely exist. And he was able to block that and hence channel those monies to the right places. Mr. Zuba, how are you taking this down? How does this go down with you? Isn't this what should be applied in every state? You know, when Peter Obi was campaigning, he made mention of a point where monies for the people are to be spent on the people. And so he cut the cost of leadership, of government.
No, Imole, that's, Governor Deleke, Imole is the name they used to call him, he did not talk about cutting of the cost of government.
No, I'm just giving a similar instance.
About plugging leakages. Most of the times, for instance, the pensions fund, and this is why I used to feel very bad about that, because this pension fund is not like it's, if we are talking about gratuity, we can say government is withholding money they are supposed to give those people. But pensions are those people's money. This is their salary they earn over time. And while they are earning it, the pension commission, the pensions board are saying, okay, let me keep 10% for you. Let me keep 5% for you. So if I receive my salary, 10%. If I receive my salary 10%, so that when I retire, from that my 10%, you start paying me small, so that I can use to, calm down and enjoy my old age of playing with grandchildren and all that. Then somehow, somebody will now come and carry these people's money they've labored for. It's not like it's an entire.
This is money they worked for like 35 years of their lives.
So it's their own, and these are the things that, and I'm really very happy for Osun State because they've been through hell. It's in Osun State that Ogbeni Rauf Ariboshola refused to pay worker salary for 7 good months, and he was telling them that he called a conference to teach Osun State workers how to live without their salaries. This he did in the year 2014, as a state governor. And fortunately and unfortunately, they re-elected him, and the hunger strike went on, because I call that a hunger strike when you voluntarily decided to vote for a man that has refused to pay your salaries at a time he owed all Osun State workers at 7 months at a stretch. Then at a time he was owing some people up to 14 months. He was owing some people 9 months. Ladoke Akintola University went on a strike spanning over a year and 4 months. Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, LASUT, went on a strike. That is a state-owned university. It was so bad that when this guy, Seyi Makinde, of Oyo State took over, he had to take ownership of Ladoke Akintola University and solve their problem, because some students of Ladoke Akintola University who were in their final year in 2014 graduated in 2021. That's how bad it is. They stayed
at 7 years.
Yes, because Rauf Ariboshola said he didn't have the money to pay them. That he can't take care of the university, he can't give them subvention, he can't give anything. And the ASU of LASUT went on strike. So it kept spanning, and sometimes they will say Oyo State is the one who owns the university. They will say Osun State owns the university. And after the long dragging, when Seyi Makinde took over as governor of Osun State, Oyo State in 2019, he said, "Oh yeah, give me the university. Let us now take care of the people." So Ladoke Akintola University now became fully owned by Oyo State, courtesy of bad governance, perpetuated by Rauf Ariboshola and continued by his successor Oyetola. Because Oyetola was one of those in the Rauf Ariboshola administration. And unfortunately, this administration, appointed the same man to become Minister of Interior. It begs the question: do we reward people for failure?
For failure, yeah.
And the same Ralph Ariboshola was insisting that he would be the one to produce a candidate, that we replace Oyetola, and that is how things has been going. So, Osun State is very lucky, that Adeleke finally won the election because, if you remember,
and this is just a few days over 100 days in power.
Yeah, if you can remember, I think it was sometime in 2018 or so, there was still an election, and Oyetola and Adeleke contested. Adeleke won that election with 365 votes margin. 365 votes margin. Then that was the beginning. Instead, that election should be reconducted in about 3 or 5 wards or so. And because of the election that was declared inconclusive, they went into a partnership with Iyolo Omishore, and with Iyolo Omishore moving into the APC, he mobilized his supporters to put power to Oyetola's side, and APC. That was how Oyetola won. So Adeleke won that first election, but due to the ever corrupt Independent National Electoral Commission, they did what they did, declared the election inconclusive, and took away that mandate.
And took that mandate off him.
From him. And this time around again, it was just about 4 or 5 days ago that Adeleke escaped from the Court of Appeal, where they wanted to take away the mandate away from him again. So finally, Osun State people can now say, at least
we have been liberated.
It's uhuru for them. At least they are going to enjoy this particular administration for the next 4 years before any other person can do any other thing. And he has been doing, remember, when Adeleke came into office, he did not stay up to 2 weeks before sacking as many people as possible. That was when he was talking about plugging the loopholes. He did not say we were using 20 cards and I reduced it to 1. No, it is just a simple case of this money is pension people money. Pay them now, don't take it home. This money belongs to teachers. Pay them now, don't take it home. This money belongs to...
And these are the things we are looking forward to seeing in an Alex Otti's administration of Abia State.
We are hoping something
because
like
the people of Abia State has been through a lot. I won't really say it's a mess, but it seems like a mess.
Let's hope.
Because consecutive governments have seemed to be failing the people of Abia State.
Yeah, but their case was
critical.
They are having major deficit, especially in infrastructure. But Abia State people have not been told how to live without their salaries. It's not bad that sometimes people like Ariboshola is rewarded with a ministerial position, after their time in governance.
Meaning the presidency found him worthy
to hold somebody who is not good with workers, and then you're making the person Minister of Interior. So the person now decides the fate of the workers, something like that. And you just don't know how to go about the way Nigeria...
Well, it's the process of the country is all about loyalty and not competence.
Yeah, it's about loyalty, it's about...
Godfatherism, it's about who you can reach to and all that.
That's what
it's not about the people.
Yeah, it has never been.
So before we round up, what's the fate of the people? How do the people go around a system of governments that this government is not for the people? It's not centered around the people. So how does the people tend to survive when they all have hopes on this same government?
I think I will use the language often used by this administration. Change begins with you. If the people want something better, the people should change and do something better, because I don't see the best analogies to use, but the people are the tools being used. So if the people refuse to be used,
are you driving towards doing electioneering periods where the people are used to rig these elections to bring in these leaders that tend to stand against the same people that brought them in?
It's not just electioneering campaigns, remember, like Imole said, he plugged the loopholes, he blocked the leakages where this money is, money that is supposed to follow this way, and somebody is taking it this way. It is one of the people that are taking it this way, and it is one of the people that are looking at him while he's taking it this way, and it is one of the people that is at the other end collecting it from him when he is taking it this way. So if all those people, when he wants to take it, everybody will say push it, go, let that money go the way it's all supposed to go. It's the people's money. This allocation has entered. This Paris Club refund has entered. Carry this money now. Pay these people now. Pay these people now. Pay these people. It's the people. Let's assume that the whole thing is being perpetuated by the, office of the Secretary of the State Government. It is somebody that is the driver to the Secretary of the State Government. It is somebody that is security chief. It's somebody that is secretary. It's somebody that opens his gate. If all those people, if you see something, you say something. You say that, see, look at what this man has been doing. If these people know that any way they follow, the people there will not see something
and keep quiet. Yeah,
they are going to be doing the right thing. But the problem is that the driver of the SSG is hoping that one day he himself becomes the SSG so that he can steal more than the SSG.
So he has to be loyal and accept whatever comes
from it. And even if
it.
he sees that such a thing is now beyond him, he will now educate his child to grow up and become like the SSG so that the child can now steal. So that is the way. But if the people decide by themselves that, see, this thing has to end, and the ordinary people say, we don't want corruption again. Believe you me, there is no way they are going to perpetuate the corruption because, you cannot leave this house without following the door. The people are like the door. They are the channels by which these things go. So if the channels are blocked, everything remains.
The problem of the country is in the hands of the people. It starts from the bus driver who increases his T-fares each time fuel prices increase in the state. But when these same fuel prices drop, they don't, as a matter of fact, bring down these prices. It goes down to the POS people in our streets who were collecting 300 naira against 1,000 naira for withdrawals. And today, where nairas are being paid in the banks, where banks pay up to 100,000 naira cash just for you to walk into the bank, these same POS operatives are now collecting 100 naira for each 1,000 naira. The problem is not really with the leadership of the country, though they have a role to play, but it starts within you and I to decide that we want a country that works. And for we to get countries that works, we must decide to work it in our own little ways. Thank you for staying with us today on Nigeria Decides on Coast Television. It's been a good evening, and we keep saying thank you to you for joining us, and see you same time tomorrow. It's 5 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Thank you and goodbye.
It comes as strict.
Enough is enough. We are not second-class citizens of this country.